Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Megan with Wild and Wonderfilled Farm. Today we're going to talk about my top 10 favorite perennials for cut flowers. Peonies. I had to put these guys first on the list because, well, look at them. They are absolutely stunning. Looking at these gorgeous flowers, it may surprise you just how easy they are to grow. Once planted, they usually require very little maintenance. I usually just do a fall old foliage pickup and maybe a little bit of mulch. And that's about it. I don't really fuss over these guys too much. And they will last and last and last and grow forever. I actually have a peony plant that we took from my grandmother's farm that is probably over 60 years old now, and who knows, they'll probably outlive me. The hardest part about peonies is patience. Once you plant them, you need to give them about 3 years to get established before you start cutting and using the stems. We need to let the plant focus its energy on building a strong root system. So it is recommended that you disbud them, which is, I know, it's horrible. But if you can stomach it, then it will help your plants in the long term. But yeah, if you need an early spring flower that will move bouquets, sell quickly, and just, catch everyone's eye, then plant your peonies now and get some of that waiting over with. The second flower on my list, which arguably might be my favorite, is Yarrow, or Achillea if you fancy. But this is such an amazing flower. It is a total workhorse. It's drought tolerant. It blooms for a long period of time. The pollinators love it. The beneficial insects love it. I love it. It has such a beautiful fanned out shape. You would be hard pressed to find an arrangement that Yarrow did not look good in. I challenge you to show me an ugly Yarrow bouquet. Just send it to me. Another thing I love about Yarrow is that it is incredibly easy to start from seed. I grow a couple different varieties. I like the mixes from Johnny Seeds, the summer pastels, and I think it's favorite berries. Lots of beautiful colors in those. And then I grow something called Love Parade, which is a pale lavender, slightly different type of Yarrow. It has these larger flower clusters, but it's also very, very useful. And then I grow one called Double Diamond, which is kind of reminiscent of a Feverfew, and it is so versatile. You can put this in literally anything and it will look great. Only take one thing away from this video, it's that you should grow Yarrow, and you can thank me later. The next amazing flower on this list is rudbeckia. This is such an absolute classic with the golden petals and dark centers of varieties like the Indian Summer. They can make amazing focal flowers or like a secondary flower in bouquets. They're so versatile. By far, my favorite variety of rudbeckia to grow is the Sahara variety. You get such a wide range of colors with this mix, from yellows to golds with double petals to tans and browns and like these cherry reds. You get like an absolute rainbow from these seeds, and they look stunning in bouquets. I love that these come at a time of year where I'm pretty low. I'm running low on focal flowers, and a lot of times I rely on these flowers to carry my bouquet. They are also a perennial that are easy to start from seed, so 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Now let's talk about what I think is the best smelling flower on this list, and that is perennial phlox. I think this is such a romantic looking flower. It reminds me of an English garden. When I'm working with these, I feel like I walked onto the set of Bridgerton and I'm about to go to the ball. So who doesn't love that? They smell so good. My only complaint with this beautiful flower is that I have not had much success starting this from seed. The phlox that I have in my garden, I bought in bare root or I bought from local garden centers, and I've been able to get it on clearance for, pretty cheap. So it's not a problem. But if you guys have any phlox secrets, please let me know, because I would really love to master that. And now let's talk about Feverfew. This flower is an absolute powerhouse. I remember the first time I grew Feverfew in my garden. I started it from seed in the late summer, planted it out in the fall, and come springtime, I had more Feverfew than any one human should ever possess. It was enormous. These plants were as tall as me, and there were just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stems. Needless to say, I have not planted this much Feverfew since then, but I guess I was just excited. Feverfew is this adorable little clusters of almost daisy-like flowers. My favorite varieties to grow are the Magic Single, I think, and then I think it's called Tetra White, and those are the ones that have the exposed pollen in the center. So they have the yellow center and the white petals, and they really give that like little daisy look. They do have ones that I guess you would call them like full doubles, or ones without the pollen, and I just don't think those look as cute. As you can see in this photo, it shows up early spring. Could be paired alongside my ranunculus and my nigella and my group 1-2 snapdragons, and it looks just absolutely whimsical. But a lot of times I also get a second flush later in the season where I can put it with things like my dahlias in the fall. So of course there has to be a downside, right? So the downside with Feverfew is that it is a tender perennial. So for me, it doesn't always overwinter. Usually what happens is I will start them late summer, they will overwinter for me, and they will be great the first season. If I let that same patch go another winter, usually I end up losing about 50% of the mature plants. So because it is incredibly easy to start from seed, I just start a few extra plants every year, and I fill in the gaps of whatever doesn't come back. And it's really easy. It's one of my lowest maintenance plants. We made it to number 6, Sedum. Not only is Sedum an amazing landscape plant, it also makes a great cut flower. It is a perfect filler for bouquets, and it adds a really interesting textural element. There is a large window of time that you can use Sedum. You can use it when the buds are completely closed, when they are partially closed, when they are open, or even when they're starting to go to seed. Sedum has a great vase life. It is easy to grow. You can propagate it from plants that you have. Probably the variety I grow the most of is called Autumn Joy, and it's that kind of lime green with the pink flowers. I also have this darker purple variety, but I cannot remember what the name of it is, or else I would tell you. Sedum is such a great plant to have on hand because you can use it from early summer all the way through late fall. Let's talk about number 7, Baptisia. This early spring flower adds a beautiful spike element to bouquets. It kind of reminds me of a more sparse lupin. Now that they've been breeding it, it does come in a lot of interesting colors. I think I do prefer the classic blue purple though. I love that it's me at a time of the year where my flower garden is a little sparse. I can use it alongside my peonies and my snaps and my other favorite cold hardy annuals. Asia also makes the favorite list for me because I can use the flowers when they're blooming, I can use the greenery after the flowers have passed, and I can also use the seed pods, which look really cool in arrangements. While I've found that these are a little slower to get established, once they are absolutely enormous, and you'll get a ton of stems off of each plant. Moving right along with number 8, Veronica. I know I say this about all the plants, but I love this flower. There's something about how this flower looks in arrangements that, to me, it just elevates the bouquet. What I do with my Veronica, like I do with a lot of my perennials actually, is I scatter them throughout my landscaping. They look beautiful in the landscaping, and I'm able to cut them when I need them. I currently only have white Veronica that I got from my local garden center years ago, but now I'm thinking I need to branch out. There are lovely pinks and purples, kind of a bluish color that I need in my life now. Veronica is another set it and forget it perennial. I have done nothing to help this plant since I planted it, and it comes back year after year looking beautiful. Number 9, Alliums. This is a group of plants that is just great to have on hand. I remember when I was first starting my flower farm, Alliums were not a thought that ever crossed my mind. But ever since I started growing them, I love what they add to my bouquets. The variety that I probably grow the most of are these drumstick alliums, and they are very inexpensive. They have long, tall stems that are very sturdy. They actually feel like drumsticks, and I love adding them in the early spring. I also grow some of these classic round purple allium. It is nice to have them in very early spring alongside my peonies and my Baptisia and my irises. While the varieties I just mentioned are spring varieties, there are alliums that bloom throughout the season. One of the things you'll spy in a lot of my bouquets later in the summer are chive flowers. They're these delicate little white clusters that I put in everything. I just think they look so cute in my smaller jar arrangements and my bud vases. If loving these tiny flowers is a crime, then lock me up and throw away the key. And also, you get the benefit of having chives to use in your kitchen. I almost forgot to mention that they have a fantastic vase life. All right, well, congratulations if you've made it all the way to number 10. You are now being rewarded with the fuzzy flower that is Liatris. This tall, sturdy spike flower comes in white and purple shades. When I added this flower to my garden years ago, I just bought a bag of mixed colors. Now, if I were to add more to my garden now, I would only get the purple, and that's simply because the white fades to brown a lot quicker. One of the only drawbacks of Liatris is it has a relatively short bloom window of only a couple weeks, but I really enjoy it when it's here, and the pollinators absolutely love Liatris. It is such an easy, no maintenance plant that I would grow it just for the bees. Each Liatris plant will make multiple harvestable stems each year, and as they mature, they'll produce more stems each season. Alrighty guys, you made it to the end. That was my top 10 favorite perennials that I grow on my cut flower farm. Now that is by no means all the perennials that I grow, but it's definitely enough to get you started. If you've made it this far, I just want to thank you for helping support my channel. I'm a new channel, and I know maybe these videos aren't the most exciting because it's the winter time and I can't, I'm not able to bring you out into my garden with me like I will be able to soon. So bear with me. There's going to be a lot more to come. I am so excited to share this upcoming growing season with you guys, whether we'll start with seed starting and planting the plants out, and then I'll be able to take you guys with me to my farmers markets. I don't know about you, but garden tours and bouquet making videos and farmers market vlogs are my absolute favorite videos to watch on YouTube. Thank you again for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up to help my channel. And if you're not subscribed, maybe think about subscribing. I think that 2026 is going to be my best year yet. If you guys haven't watched the first video on this channel, you might not know that this is the year that I leave my nursing career behind and pour all of my energy into my flower farm. It is going to be a wild ride, maybe a little bumpy, but it's definitely going to be an adventure, and I would love you guys to follow along. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one.